Hey, welcome back everybody to Rob Rawlings Music Channel. This is Rob Rawlings. Today we're going to hit lesson number 2. Hopefully you guys practice lesson number 1 and you have your D chord, your G chord, and your A7 down. Hopefully you've got that down as a progression and you're ready to rock that thing out. Today we're going to move on and we're going to talk about another 1-4-5-7 progression, and that is going to be in the key of A. So the first chord we need to learn is going to be the A major chord. Before we get started with the A chord, we're going to talk about the strings a little bit. In your last lesson, I referred to each of the 6 strings by their letter names in standard tuning. So I had E, A, D, G, B, E as you move from your string closest to your face to the string closest to the floor. The low E we refer to as string number 6. And our high E we refer to as string number 1. So going from the floor up, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if I refer to the strings as letter names, you'll need to know those. And if I refer to them as numbers, you need to know that as well. So it's a pretty easy concept. If you're having trouble remembering the letter names, there's a little mnemonic device that might help you out, and that is Eddie ate dynamite. Goodbye, Eddie. Eddie, E, ate, A, dynamite, D, good, G, bye, B, Eddie. So we got 2 Eddies. That might help you out as we go through that. So E, A, D, G, B, E. All right, so let's get down to business with our A. So starting out, the A we're going to learn is actually an A over E, or an A in second inversion, or A with an E in the bass. So we're going to play all 6 strings on this A chord. So first off, you're going to have an open E, open A, and on your D string, we are going to utilize finger number 2 on the 2nd fret. And then on your G string, we're going to use finger number 1 in the 2nd fret. And then the B string, we have finger number 3 in the 2nd fret. And then your high E is open. Now this is a slightly different fingering than perhaps you've seen from some folks. So kind of, some people play it like this, with their fingers all in a row, 1, 2, 3, like that. My fingers are kind of big and they don't fit in that fret that easily like that. So I'll use a different fingering, which is the one I showed you there. And here's how that chord sounds all together. Now this fingering is especially helpful if you're going to be moving to some other chords later on, like if you need to go to an A major 7, it's simply a 1-finger switch. Pretty cool. It's also very easy when you move to another chord like D. So first, here's A, and from that A, we're going to move to D. Now, the first finger just stays right there on your G string. So you got your A fingered here. You keep your first finger there, and then you move your 2nd finger to your high E string on the 2nd fret, and your ring finger, 3rd finger, to the 3rd fret on the B string, and then you got your D. So we have a common finger, common. So from the A, keep that common finger down, move the others to our D. Now we covered the D chord on the last lesson, but a quick review is you can play a standard D with D in the bass using 4 strings. You can do a D with an A in the bass using 5 strings. Or you can do a D with an F sharp in the bass using all 6 and your thumb popped over the 2nd fret for your D. Like so. So just as we spoke in other lessons about moving between chords, you want to practice the individual chord till you've got it down. So you practice your A till it feels real good. Use the look away method. Look away and try to put your fingers right on an A. And then look down. And you got it. And if you didn't get it, work on it till you do. Remember to keep thumb in the back of the neck as possible. Keep the curved wrist here as you play. That way the opposable thumb gives you the strength to push down these chords and get plenty of sound. Remember to use your arpeggios to make sure they're all sounding. A little bit of a muffled string there, so I want to adjust my finger a little bit. Make sure everything rings true. And then you want to work going between the chords. So from A to D. Remember that you want to use your common finger. And you can do as slow as you need to go. Do 4 strums, 8 strums, that kind of thing. Just make sure you're getting good full sounds out of your guitar. After you've got your A and your D down, you want to move on to the next chord in the progression called E7. It's an E dominant 7 chord. And let's talk about how to make this happen. First off, your low E is going to be open. You're going to take your 2nd finger, 2nd fret of the A string, kind of an open D string, and your 1st finger is going to play on the 1st fret on your G string, and then B and E are open. So you get this sound. Sometimes you may want to use a different fingering. I sometimes use the 2nd and 3rd finger instead. Just depends on where you're coming from and where you're going to after the chord. Now, since you've worked your D and your A pretty well, and then we're on to the E7, you want to work between your D and your E7 perhaps. So you'll want to work sort of nice and slowly. Start to put all 3 together. Since we're on our 2nd lesson on this chord, you can certainly use any of the strategies and techniques that I've talked about in other lessons with this one. But here's another way you could approach working it. If you feel pretty good about your muscle memory moving chord to chord to chord, but you just need to get a little better, you can do what I call the 8-4-2-1 method. And what you do is you play 8 strums on each chord, and then 4 strums on each chord, then 2 strums, then 1 strum. And it forces you to move more quickly as you move through the process. So here's how it kind of works. Starting with 8 strums each. It's a great way to work yourself up, to be able to move more quickly between chords, and you can check for your sound quality and the smoothness of motion, common fingers, fingers that are real similar in their movements. And always remember, stay close to the fingerboard. Don't move too far off, no flyaway fingers as you play. and keep good technique. That basically wraps up the idea of the A to D to E7 progression, the 1-4-5-7 in the key of A. A couple of last reminders here is the fingering of the A can vary. I will caution you, a lot of people will kind of do this one finger A, and that has its use and its place. But right now, I advise against it until later or in different situations. It's very difficult to get a good sounding A without muffling some stuff out with one finger. Use the 3 fingers. Whether you use my fingering or this fingering or this fingering, as long as you're getting 3 fingers doing it, seems to be the way to go. So, appreciate you guys stopping in. If you like the video, like it and subscribe, and moving on to some more lessons as we move forward. Thanks.